Greetings, everyone. Once again, thank you for tuning in, for listening. I want to talk about something that's I actually debated if I would even post this, but I say why not. It's in reference to Bishop Eddie Long. I actually saw via television that they've reached they were in agreement in reference to a settlement in reference to the case. And you guys know, as always, I basically just give my opinion. This is nothing, I'm not saying it is written, it's engraved in stone, in other words. But it's so much I can actually say about this. I'm not out to offend anyone. I'm not out to say who's wrong, who's right, or point the finger at anyone, because, who am I to judge? But I will say this. No one knows actually what happened in this whole situation but three parties. And that would be Bishop Eddie Long himself, the young men that are involved in this case, and God. So I can't. I'm not one to go out on the internet and post negative stuff about anyone. Bishop Eddie Long, the young men that were involved, anyone. That's not something I do. The only thing I will do is just give my opinion, how I feel about the situation, without trying to condemn anyone or speak negative against anyone, because as man, each of us we can look back in our archives, which we all have. We've done some things that we don't like, and it's not to make anyone feel as if they're wrong or right. But I will say this situation is very, very, it's so touchy for me, because it's dealing with people. I think you have a large group of people that are involved, and I feel, in some way, I have a part of me is saddened by the congregation that's there, which I truly believe we all have choices in life of the things that we choose to do, and whatever church you decide to become affiliated with, that would be your choice. Now, there are people that choose different congregations for different reasons. And whatever that reason is, you know what the reason is. There are some that choose churches because it's a popular church. The church is the pastor is well known of the particular church. Just different reasons. But I feel most people go to church to be fed spiritually. Now, if you're not getting that, I feel you should look elsewhere, And I don't mean to make it sound like you're out shopping around, but I do feel if you're not being fed spiritually, you should look elsewhere. Now, the situation with this case, it's a couple of things that I don't know, it just don't sit right with me, because I feel it's like something is not being said, I don't know on which part, but something is just not being said. And I look at when certain members of the congregation are being interviewed, they seem to be very defensive. And my thing is, for what? Why are we're supposed to be Christians? Well, people look at these people that are being interviewed that are affiliated with this church as Christians, and they seem so angry, and it's like, I don't understand why, because we don't know what happened. We can only go by what we hear, and we can insinuate, or we can, in our mind, just think what we want to believe, but we actually don't know what happened. So with that being said, I don't think for the congregation, I mean, to be so angry with a question that's being asked from the media, I don't think it's a reason to get upset. You know, whatever has happened in this case, with this case, I think we need to reach out as far as prayers to everybody involved. I even say the congregation, Bishop Eddie Long, the young men that are involved, the parents of the young men, everyone that's involved in this case. They just need to be uplifted. And if Eddie Long is guilty, he needs to be uplifted. I think if he is guilty, I think the right thing to do would be to step down and, you know, work on as far as what's going on with himself. I think that would be the right thing to do. I don't think you do things, and I'm not saying he's guilty. I'm just going down, you know, in reference to Eddie Long. If this is something that has happened with him, I think he should step down and just do the right thing, basically. And, you know, just don't sweep it under the rug as if nothing happened. And if the young men are just out saying things that aren't true in reference to this case, I think they need to do the same as well. And, you know, because you have to think when you know, I don't look at, one thing about, I don't go to church and look at my pastor as God. You know, I go to be fed spiritually, and I don't look at him like, oh, he does no wrong. I don't do that. Because we as man, we will fall short. We will sin. You know, and, you know, I hear there's so many times I hear people that are so-called Christians, they look at different situations and they make it seem as if they've been Christians all their lives. You know, I once heard a woman talking to another lady in conversation, and they were talking about homosexuality, and they made it seem like it was the worst thing on this earth, you know, which, not to say I'm in agreement with it, but that's not the only sin on this earth, you know. And the lady's comment was, being around homosexuals make me want to throw up. I just choose not to be bothered with them, period. And, you know, I'm not the scholar of the Bible, but I try to listen to what people say, and not that I take it in and that's what I run with, but I listen to what conversation I may be having with someone. I take it in, and I may ponder on it for a minute. But I don't think if you're a Christian, you distance yourself away from, I'm not saying indulge in sin, but I'm not saying just totally distance yourself away from someone because they're not living the lifestyle you think they should live. Because my thing is, if you're living a Christian life, you should be living your life in love, and you should embrace that person. You may be the one to bring that person to Christ. And sitting there judging him and talking down on them and saying that they make you want to throw up is not bringing that person closer, you know, to even want to hear what you have to say. Basically, it's pushing them far away. And that's with anything. That's with anyone, you know. I'll embrace anyone's conversation, not to say I indulge in negativity, but you can, sometimes we miss out because we go by what we see as bad without knowing what the person is really like on the inside. You know, you may see a homeless person on the street, and the person may speak to you and you walk past them without even knowing the real person. Because I've always said, as man, we can dress the outer appearance to be appealing to what we think the world likes to see. But you can't go by that. A person is judged from the inside out, not outside in. And I think that's where a lot of us fall short as Christians. But I'm going off, you know, I'm on the soapbox right now, but I the Eddie Long case, this is really, it's unfortunate because there's so many people involved, and I hope it's not something that Bishop Eddie Long is guilty of. And my reasons for saying that is not because I look at him as like, oh, well, you did, not pointing the finger, but I think if he knows this is something that he's struggling with, he needs to step down and deal with it, and don't make it seem as if the problem, well, he's bigger than what's going on. But there's so much I probably do another segment on this, because it's like I'm just really kind of lost for words on this whole situation. And I hate the fact that people can sometimes be so, shallow as far as their thinking, to put their all their trust in one person or an individual, as if that person can't do wrong. Give that person, not saying you're looking for that person to fall, but sometimes we can put people or individuals so high on a pedestal that they themselves think, well, I can't fall because my congregation have put me so far up. How would I, say I did wrong, or I'm guilty of this, or and not speaking on Eddie Long, just speaking in general, or because we put them so high up on the pedestal, we don't even give them room to fall. But I think we need to basically, as Christians, kind of check ourselves and look at, are we bringing people closer to Christ, or are we pushing them farther away? I guess that would be the question to ask, because from what I see, people aren't they don't want to be Christians, because they look at the way so-called Christians act, and they're so judgmental against different people. If you don't do what they do, you're on the, I guess, the outskirts of religion, I guess. But like I said, I probably do another segment of this, because there's so much I can say about this, and I don't want to point the finger or judge anyone, but that's just how I feel about this situation, going by what I know so far. So just give me your feedback and let me know what you think. Thanks for listening, and give me your feedback. Thanks.